there and welcome back to Don't Open That Door. Come along with our triumvirate of terror as we descend into darkness, hurtle into horror, and plunge into peril. If you remember phone booths, you're in the right place. I'm Justin. Call me for a good time.
I'm Nico and 800-588-2300 Empire today.
Well, I'm Dan, and I hate it when companies make a word out of their phone number because then I have to figure out how that corresponds to numbers, and fuck that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's actually quite annoying at times. But Dan, this is the start of our month of Halloween. And we have a very special theme for our viewers. One that maybe they haven't heard before. What is that?
I get it.
Huh?
Well, our theme for this spooky month of October 2023 is actually numbers. We are watching movies that have numbers in the title, and that does not count sequels. So like Nightmare on Elm Street 2 or something like that. Well, I'm glad I got there before you could ask. So, numbers, numerology, numberology.
Shout out to the, everyone back in Arabia for coming up with this shit. Love you, fam.
Romans, numerals.
I mean, hey, we could possibly include Roman numerals. That's true.
Damn you, Nico. You took us way off course. Anyways, right you are. And today we are reviewing 976 Evil. This movie was directed by Robert Englund, starring Stephen Jeffries as Hoax, Patrick O'Brien as Spike, Leslie Deanne as Susie, Sandy Dennis as the mother, and Robert Picardo as Mark Dark, aka the evil voice on the phone. So we open with the scene of a man seemingly fleeing from phone calls. No matter where he runs, the phones around him keep ringing. Finally, he answers, and the phone booth that he is in explodes!
Oh no!
Something evil is afoot. Next up, we are introduced to the movie's main characters, Spike and his younger cousin, Hoax. Hoax is a social outcast, pretty much. He's bullied at school, doesn't get any girls, and lives with his evangelical mother. Spike is the total opposite. He's a badass with a motorcycle and a punk girlfriend, but he's got a soft spot for his younger cousin, and seems to be his sole refuge from beatings at school. And Nico, what happens next? Where do we go from here?
So one day, Spike finds a random card in a magazine that he's reading that has an advertisement to call 976 Evil for a horoscope. Spike does so, but he finds it to be kind of cheesy. But that same night, it ends up raining fish. I'm going to give that a little second to marinate, because that's not like some sort of prank. It actually ends up raining fish. It's fucking bizarre. And this, understandably, it's raining fish. Which this distracts his aunt from the fact that he kind of stole some money from her. So Spike calls the hotline again and he's all like, I can't believe all this halibut. No, he's not. The voice on the other end of the line does say, though, that it did, in fact, rain fish and that he did get some cash. So, hey, he got what he wanted.
Mm-hmm. Well, Dan, I want to know more about their school life. So what's good with that?
Well, I want to know what school they go to, because that shit is wild. There's graffiti everywhere, posters of naked ladies all over the place. I don't understand.
It actually looks like the school from Akira.
It kind of does, yes. So we do get a scene of the cousins at school, and we can see just how much Hoax kind of sucks. From there, we cut to another scene where Spike calls the hotline again, and it tells him that he should steal some gloves from a biker store. So he kind of does, but actually he thinks better of it and puts them back. But this causes the voice on the other end of the hotline to get pissed, and it tells Spike to look both ways before crossing the street, which is good advice anyways. Immediately after, Spike is almost hit by a car, but he is saved by a private investigator named Marty.
Yo, that scene, he could have just like ran to him, but instead he pounced like a leopard in the savannah onto fucking Hoax or whatever, Spike, to get him out of the way. Truly some of the most comical shit I've seen in a while.
Hey, Nico.
What?
There are no leopards in the savannah.
Yeah, well, there's no good in this movie, so...
Well, actually there is, because Spike meets up with his girlfriend Susie, and they head over to his place for an intimate moment. Spike is a Minuteman, and he also lives in the house next to Hoax. Afterwards, Spike and Susie head out to watch a movie. That rhymes.
Leopards are most abundant in woodland, grassland, savanna, and all forest types. Eat my ass, Justin. Please go on.
Where'd you find that at?
I just Googled it, motherfucker. Are leopards in the savannah?
Which savannah?
None were specified. So.
None were specified.
Leopards ain't in the savannah, bro. Trust me. Afterwards,
Okay.
Spike and Susie head out to watch a movie, but really, Spike wants to gamble with the local delinquents. While this is going on, Hoax finds the number to the hotline, calls it, and then it tells him to go to the movies if he wants to meet the girl of his dreams. He finds Susie, and they go out for pizza, but they're interrupted by the local delinquents, who beat up on Hoax and humiliate him in front of Susie. Also, they find out that he has a pair of Susie's underwear. Yeah, he kind of has that at that point. Moving on, Nico, what's Hoax's plan of action?
So Hoax is just plain pissed at this point. So he calls the hotline and undertakes a satanic ritual going from 0 to 100 to try and just scare Susie, but he accidentally kills her. Oops. I hate to see it.
Oh no!
Oh no! Meanwhile, Marty the PI, more like Marty the PU, is doing some investigating and he finds the owner of the evil horoscope hotline. And the owner insists that the line is just an answering machine and it's been shut down for a few months now. Now, at this point, we cut to Hoax at the school, and he's changing into a demon. And he takes revenge on 2 of his bullies in that very same bathroom we just described.
Well, Dan, things are starting to hot up here. So,
Try it one more time. Give that another shot there, bud.
So, Dan, things are beginning to hot up, and I want you to tell me how this movie concludes, sir.
Well, this movie concludes, but not yet.
Oh,
Because from here, Hoax goes full on demon mode and kills the local delinquents and his mom also.
Hmm.
He also
Nice
opens up a pit
mom.
to hell outside of his house, which is kind of a rookie move. Well, Marty, the useless PI, shows up and he is attacked by Hoax, but Marty survives somehow.
Pause. He's not attacked by Hoax. He sees him in the window and he jumps himself off of the fucking barristers
is that
or
not
whatever.
an attack?
No, that's not an attack.
It sounds so much lamer when I say he sees him through the window and falls. Okay, I'm not saying that.
This dude fucking sucks.
Dan, please continue.
Spike confronts his cousin and reminds him of the trip the 2 of them were supposed to take over the summer. Hoax's humanity is briefly restored, but Spike already knows that his cousin has fallen to the evil of the hotline bling. So he pushes him into the pit of hell, defeating him.
Oh no.
The movie ends with the owner of the hotline being shown to be evil, who would have thought, and we see people continuing to call the hotline.
I know
The
when
end.
that alarm ring, I can only mean one thing.
Let's go ahead and let's get this one going, shall we? So, first and foremost, how does this movie look, Dan?
I thought it looked pretty good. It was hokey, cheesy 80s horror.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, think of like the 80s horror you know and love.
Yeah.
Not like the good kind. I actually liked how Hoax looked when he was like kind of like demoned. I thought
Yeah.
that was kind of cool. There is a scene where when Hoax gets the demon powers and like he turns blue, like shiny blue. I thought that was pretty funny. But I did like how he looked as a demon.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I liked was generally a lot of the set design and the costumes that people had. Like, I didn't really buy that this was a real school or real people in that
No.
school, but once I kind of came to terms with that, I liked it. I liked the way they looked. And I don't know, I also kind of liked there's a scene where the mom's dead and there's someone else who finds her and she's got her insides are open and like her cats are eating it.
Inside
that looked pretty cool.
outside blew his house.
So there's that. But Nico, how did you think this movie looked?
I mean, I think it looked bad, but in a good way. Like Dan said, this is classic 80s schlock that you know and love, but I think it's just there's a whole lot of cheese factor here, and there's not a whole lot of like bright, pristine sheen to it, if you will. It looks kind of gritty. It looks kind of rough around the edges, but I feel like that's the point. The only thing that I will say that I'm not sure if this is something that was explained in the narrative and I just didn't catch it, or was a genuine sort of fuck up on the design side, but I couldn't tell if once Hoax had become fully demonic, if it had the same actor or not, because when he goes and gets all scaly and everything, his voice is deepened, and obviously that could be an effect done in post, but like his clothes also are shrunken on him, and it looks like he's taller in comparison to his very short, diminutive stature. I don't know. What did you guys get from that?
To your point, I do think that it was the same actor, because if you remember, Stephen Jeffries' Hoax, he also played Evil Ed on Fright Night, and the character undergoes a similar-ish transformation in that movie. So I think that it's probably the same actor. I think they just maybe did the
So he
voice.
can just do that? Extendo limbs? That's his whole shtick?
Well, consider who the director is.
I mean, yeah.
The director does have extendo limbs.
Okay, fair play. Oh my god, was this the influence we never knew existed on one of our favorite franchises?
Yes.
Also, I will say, I thought that there were one or two scenes that had a real kind of dreamlike quality to them, in particular the opening scene. And I was like, that's probably Englund drawing on his nightmare experience, if I had to guess. But sounds. Dan, I was going to ask you how this movie sounds. How's that sound to you?
That sounds good to me. Just like the movie.
Okay.
I thought it sounded good. I don't really have too much to say in that regard, except some of the voiceovers were a little hokey and bad. There's definitely a time where a character like said something and their mouth just like didn't move at all.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, obviously, like, you know, movies, especially then and now as well, but especially then, you know, a lot was dubbed over, but still could have done a little better.
It's kind of funny because I don't have a super amount to say. I just want to say there's one dude, and he's the guy with the chain, and there's a part
Airhead?
where I think so.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
Because the dude calls him Skinhead, and he's like, no, my name is Airhead. And then
Get it right. I'm stupid, not racist.
Spike comes to save Hoax because they're giving him a swirly and shit. And Spike like beats the shit out of him. And then Airhead goes, motherfucker. And I was like, okay, goddamn, chill out. Like,
When Hoax accidentally kills Susie, he's like, no! And then like the scene cuts and you're still hearing like the fade out.
Yeah.
yeah, I can't even lie.
Hoax did have some good one-liners in there. I thought they were pretty funny.
I feel like they wrote those one-liners first and then wrote the movie around them.
Maybe.
Nico, what's your thoughts on the sound?
I don't have too much else to add except to say that this is kind of some Twin Peaks shit in the level of just like weird, wacky, discordant music that sometimes pops in and out. And this is one that'll definitely keep you on your toes, which is refreshing at least.
All right. Okay. Now, question for you guys. What kind of horror subgenre would you put this in? Because I find it to be difficult.
I think this is so bad it's good. Like,
Okay.
big time campy. And it's hard for me to think too much deeper than that because of how fucking stupid this movie is. I'm sorry.
See, it's interesting that you say that because I always wonder if they plan for it to have that level of camp or if at the end of it, they're like, okay, this turned out pretty campy, but we'll rock with it.
Yeah.
Like, I never really know. But I would kind of say this is kind of sort of like Possession, like just barely on the fringes of it, because we don't really see a ton of the common Possession tropes. But by the end of it, where he's like fully a demon and attacking people, at that point we see a couple go through, but I don't know. I don't really think there was a ton of effort put into that side of the script. Dan, how about you?
It's going to sound kind of dumb, but I consider it both just horror, like
Mhm.
kind of like no subgenre,
Okay.
and also like 80s horror.
Mm.
And I know that like decades aren't always like a genre necessarily, but it just feels like an 80s horror movie. I feel like there's a lot of 80s horror that is very similar to this that doesn't necessarily fit into a genre enough that it just kind of becomes a genre of its own for me.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, hey, if radio stations can be the best of the 80s, why can't this? Even if it's not. So
Yeah.
I also want to ask, in this movie, it's a phone line that causes this nonsense, right?
Mhm.
But we all know people don't really call phone lines like that anymore, except for the ones I see at 3 a.m. But what would the modern day equivalent be to this? Like, what would people be hitting up for their horoscope and finding stuff out?
I feel like it's honestly just Reddit. But something I will say that kind of bugs me, they definitely had horoscopes in like other places besides this. Like, these people are turning to their horoscope for all of their solutions. Like, it's not going to say, oh, you're a Scorpio, guess you like to fuck a lot, which is 90% of the time what it does for, like, most of them anyway. I mean, let's be real. Like,
You sound like a Taurus.
oh, I sound like a hater? Is that what you were about to say? Pray tell, are those the words that were about to be bequeathed from your lips? Because you're correct. This movie's fucking stupid. They had newspaper horoscopes. They had that shit everywhere. Why would you go to a horoscope and get, let's see here, I'm gonna listen in. Oh, it's telling me to go rob a store and kill some people? I'm such an Aquarius. Are you kidding? Are you kidding?
I mean, to be fair, they never once mentioned the 12 different zodiac signs at all.
Which, like, at that point, what is even the onus? Why? Why would you even have a hotline for horoscopes? Why? This movie's fucking dumb.
It's
I think
just
Nico
another
doesn't
avenue to
understand.
get your horoscope. Why would you read a newspaper? Why not just call? Just two different
Yeah.
ways to get your horoscope.
Okay.
Nico, why do you read news on the internet? Why not? That shit's in the newspaper. Just read the fucking newspaper.
Okay, but we have way more, like, media now than we did in the 80s, bro.
Yeah.
Which just means it's even stupider.
Correct? Yes?
Not the movie. I mean,
You.
yeah.
Oh, no, never.
But I say personally, I think it's got to be like Chat GPT or something, bro.
Ayo, for real, though,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was going to say Discord server, but I think ChatGPT is.
Yo,
is
it's Craig.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Giark, he's back.
Yark. Yeah.
But no, because I feel like it would be, it's talking to you and telling you shit. Because I feel like it's that weirdo kind of like, how's it specifically know my circumstances? Like, how did it know he wanted cash and shit? So,
Bro, everybody wants cash. That's... Bruh.
okay, fish came down from the sky. You got your money.
Hey, look, I can't explain the fish shit of all the occurrences in this film. That is by far the fishiest.
Can't get that from the newspaper.
No.
Yeah, you sure fucking can't.
Now, question, would you, if there was something that you heard, like a rumor about that, like you could talk to it and tell it your problems and it could like kind of solve it for you, would you?
Would I ever hire a hitman? No, Justin.
I'll take care of that for you.
Okay, I don't need to, I guess. Dan's just my fucking guy.
Now, do you think the general populace would?
Oh, fuck yeah, people
Yeah.
are big doo-doo stupid.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, maybe speaking about the movie's one major philosophical point here. So, what's it say, when the delinquent doesn't succumb to Satan, but the air quotes good boy does? What's the movie say about that? Like, what's the point here?
I'll go for the low hanging fruit that not all people who are delinquents are actually bad people.
Mm-hmm.
It's
true.
just the lifestyle or they just like hanging around and being punks.
Yeah. I feel like, Spike, at least, he was kind of like Aladdin. You know what I mean? He was there doing his thing,
He can show them the world.
Yeah. And he was trying to do that with Susie, but it was too late.
Was he trying?
Yeah.
He wasn't doing a very good job.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right. But Nico, what do you think about that message? How's it resonate in your cold, icy heart that hates horoscopes?
It doesn't. I don't hate horoscopes. I think they're fun.
What?
I think this whole
What? No,
premise...
99% of them are you fuck well.
Yeah, and that's fun.
Bruh, can I introduce this Nico to Nico from 5 minutes ago?
Yeah, we get along, no problems.
I feel like you guys would engage in a kumite. Wah! So, anyhow, to prevent me from, you know what I'm saying, hitting Nico with apoplectic wave,
What?
I gotta talk about someone else in this movie, and his name is Marty. I'm about to revoke Marty's PI license because I don't know if he did a great job in this movie,
No.
but let's talk about it, shall we? So Marty's undertaking an investigation and he's trying to figure out what's causing this because I guess maybe he's hearing or investigating that people call this hotline and then bad things happen. How do you rank him throughout the movie, his actions in the movie, Dan? You said he was useless, but I'm sure you don't mean that.
Well, I think he does an okay job as a PI.
Mm-hmm.
Like he follows the lead. I feel like does the sensible kind of things.
Okay.
Except as a character, he's useless.
Hmm.
Like he doesn't do shit. This movie could have functioned perfectly well without him.
Yeah.
To be fair, he is there to save Spike.
Spike didn't need saving.
Spike had it handled.
The devil would have mashed up Spike in that car. Are you kidding me?
He could have just looked both ways.
Yeah, I could have just looked both ways, bro.
It is kind of unclear if that was the devil or not because he didn't look both ways. So could have just been somebody speeding, which given what this area looks like, hey, it can happen.
It's
It
probable.
can certainly happen. Now, I also want to ask here, an audience, if you find that we're not diving into this with our usual analytics and examination of themes, that's because there's none, fam. Like,
It's
there's
not that
nothing for
deep.
us to really see here. It really isn't. So, what's your favorite scene in the movie?
So there's a part where Hoax gets tossed in a trash can in a giant
Yeah.
like trash bin thing. Except like at first, so he's like getting beat up or whatever, and then there's a scene change. And we
Right.
just see the giant like garbage bin. We don't really know that he's in there. I figured it out after like 2 seconds or something, but like
Mhm.
you just see these two punks just kicking the shit out of it, and they're
Yeah.
like intensely kicking it. And I thought that was really funny because like dude was like really serious about kicking this. Like his life depended on it. I thought that was kind of funny.
Nico, how's about you?
My favorite scene was when Hoax was doing his weird little ritual shaman shit and ended up just horribly bringing one of the other characters in this movie to their end by total accident, air quotes, and then there's just suddenly hundreds of toy spiders on the screen. Like, it was very silly.
Those also weren't toys.
Yeah.
Those are real spiders.
All of them? Are you sure?
Yes.
Really?
Robert Englund had actually said in an interview that he loved that the cats followed directions, but hated that the spiders would never do what he told them to.
All right, well, I'm full of shit.
We could just title this episode
Nico's full of shit.
Asterisk in this one moment. In the other moments of this episode, I am a shiny golden god. I am flawless. Had to say it 3 times so you understood perfectly.
The hate makes you weak.
Yeah.
From
Well-
hate comes fear.
The only thing I fear is myself.
I think it's the other way around.
Nah, stay on your grind. Let's build, fam.
That is the way of Jedi. But no, so anyways. Bro, if all the Jedi had just like grinded and instead like up their
They
assets,
just collabed.
collabed
Coruscant
more.
just turns into the New York Stock Exchange.
I'm saying though, it could have. Like the Emperor would have never taken over. He's like, oh, like I'm running this shit. And they're like, no, you will not. Collaborate, we did. Iron sharpened iron. Bro, I'm telling you, it will work that way. But real quick, before we get to the what would you do, I do have a question for you, Nico.
Yeah.
You got a problem. You got a problem with Hoax. and that's no hoax.
Yep.
So why you hate hoax so much, bro? You hate characters like this in general, I found.
I do, because I hate the archetype of the sniveling, whiny little fuck, but here's why I hate this character the most. When we're getting a little bit more character background on Spike, they even say, like, oh yeah, his name's like Leonard or some shit that you hear like fucking twice. No such explanation for hoax. That's just his fucking name. So he's destined to suck because his name is literally hoax. It's just his lot in life. He had no redemption from the jump. He was just born to be a shit character.
Did you ever feel bad for him at any point? This is for the room.
No, literally never.
No, I don't know if the movie wanted you to, but he does enough like not good stuff.
And it's pretty quick too, because like in the first 10 minutes, he's a peeping Tom on Spike and insert Spike's girlfriend's name here, and it's just really fucking creepy, man. It's not okay.
I don't even know how he saw them because their blinds were pretty much down. Like the angle at which you'd have to peep, like that's some like advanced geometry shit.
Yeah, it was some Splinter Cell shit, don't get me wrong, but like still creepy.
To me, that was the thing. Like everything else I was chill with. Because he seemed like really like, I don't have social cues. My mom doesn't let me do anything. Like, in a way, I actually saw some similarities between him and Carrie.
I didn't.
That's your eyes blinded by hate.
No, I mean, in terms of like how they are outside of the fact that like, oh, we're both characters in a horror movie in a school where things go bad.
Well, the parents and the mom and the general lack of like social cues, not knowing certain things.
I don't think Carrie had a lack of social cues. She was just vigorously bullied. Like relentlessly.
There was a lot of shit she didn't know.
Yeah, like why she was being bullied. She wasn't as lacking in social tact as you think. Go back and rewatch it, I promise you.
I mean, I see similarities. And I think that where they kind of go left, though, and that's what I didn't understand, is I thought for the writing, I thought it would have made more sense if they had made him more sympathetic as a character.
Oh, it absolutely would have,
Because
yeah.
at the start, I felt bad for him when he's getting beat up on by kids older than him, and he can't defend himself against all of them. And his cousin is like his knight in shining armor. And then like he even, you know, like he's so unaware of himself socially because he's like, oh, he shows up on his shitty little moped and he's like, this is like your motorbike now. And I'm like, you know, like I feel bad for the dude in that moment. I'm like, ah, man, like he's the type of person that needs like someone to like put an arm around their shoulder and like show him, you know, a better way. And so I can see that the person that puts their arm around the shoulder is the devil and shows him the way to, you know, whatever else. But I didn't understand why they made him a peeping Tom. That didn't make any sense to me. What would have made more sense to me is if he had, because you know, him and his brother apparently stole a bank like transfer system or something.
I didn't know they stole that, but yeah.
No, I'm joking when I say they stole that. But like, how the fuck else did you install a two-vac system between your two?
Oh,
roofs?
yeah, that was fucking weird.
I
You're telling me the HOA was just like, yeah, this is chill.
So they had that. And then
This dude sent him a note in the middle of fucking, and he opened it.
Yeah, right.
And
That was the most unbelievable part.
Wait, no. Have you never gotten a text while getting it in and then like kind of checked your
Opened it?
text?
Never. Literally never. Have you?
If you
Yes.
have opened it, have you shown the girl?
And you've messaged me. What? Go ahead, Nico. Contributing to my
How you feel
downfall.
now? How you feel now?
How you feel now?
Better than hoax.
I can go back and show you the text. But no,
Please
so
don't.
anyways.
Wait, you saved that text?
Wait, what?
No.
Wait.
Oh,
Okay,
that's
full
weird.
story.
Oh,
Full
that's
story.
weird.
Full story.
No, we don't need a full story.
It's on my phone.
No
that
bonus episode, no
I
nothing.
swapped. Okay, we'll
Wow,
have a
now
bonus
for the critic
episode.
review. Hey, Dan, what do you think this movie got?
We'll have a bonus episode about the time Nico fucked up my whole life. But
Sign up to our Patreon.
nah, Nico texted some shit like, "Bro, we gotta go rescue Elle from the cornfield or from the maze or something." And I'm just like laughing.
Yo, that's on you for opening that shit
Yeah.
in the middle of it.
Yeah,
I
that's
couldn't resist.
totally on you.
So, anyways, I want to know. Oh, I didn't say my favorite scene, did I?
I don't think you did, no.
Nope.
So my favorite scene is when Marty, our esteemed private investigator, Nico actually pointed it out earlier. I'm in this abandoned building. Gotta maintain my stealth. Ring, ring. Phone rings. Oh shit, I better see if it's for me. And the phone like shocks his ass. And I was like, you deserve that. 100% you fucking deserve that shit. So take that as it will. Take that as you will. So I thought a little bit about the what would you do? And to be honest, we kind of already answered it slightly because I was going to ask you guys, how would you deal with like a modern version? Like, would you use like ChatGPT.devil? But I also wanted to know, and this is kind of like a second part two to it. If you were in Spike's shoes, right? And this is, I guess, just like a general question.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say it was one of us, right? Dan, maybe it's me or Nico. Nico, maybe it's me or Dan. Me, it's Nico. Someone gets possessed by the devil. And, you know, there's a moment where you kind of bring them back from the edge because he brought his cousin back. And Hoax was Hoax when Spike pushed him into the pit of hell. Could you do it? Could you bring yourself to do it?
Push the person into hell?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, okay, I guess we're bastards. Well, that wasn't so much of a debate, now was it? So, all right, well, time for the critic review. And, oh boy, I need everyone to equip their, you know, the Dig Dug pump-up thing they use to fight the dinosaurs in Dig Dug.
Oh, no.
Because we're getting low. What do you guys think this movie was? You knew it wasn't high. What do you guys think this movie has on Rotten Tomatoes from critics?
All right, so I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say 22 because 9 plus 7 plus 6 is 22.
Ooh, good shout.
Okay.
I like the numerology there.
Okay.
Stay with it.
I'm going to say 35.
Well, believe it or not, Nico, I thought you were going to win with your numerology of 22 because this movie has a 29% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, wow.
But in actuality, Dan, you won because you were 6
Very
and
close.
Nico was 7. And as numbers go, 6 is smaller than 7.
6 is afraid of 7.
But
because it's
still
still
ain't-
fucked your bitch.
oh, is that why?
Yeah.
Hey, why is everyone afraid of 7? 7 fuck your bitch. Oh shit. But no,
The air horn noises.
so Dan, you win obviously this week. So you retain your crown. I think you won last week too.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Depending on what episode comes out before this.
We don't know.
Probably the one we recorded before this.
Due to the linear nature of time and all that.
Yep.
Yeah. But Dan, you win. You get the golden star for right now. And I'll have you know the audience was a little bit better, giving it a 40. But I want to know your take. We've talked this movie through and through. Just if you have any last thoughts, and what's your score?
I'm going to give it a 55.
Mm-hmm.
There's really not much going on this film at all. It's just kind of there. But there's some comical parts, and I thought it was relatively enjoyable. The acting isn't all that great. The effects, some of them, like I said, Hoax being demon, it was kind of cool, but a lot of them weren't wonderful. 55 for me.
Okay. I think I'm going to follow up here. For me, it's a 65. This is, like you both have said, 80s horror schlock. And to me, it's almost like putting on a nostalgic sweater, almost. Like, this movie looks and feels like, you know, my childhood when I used to watch these older movies with my mom. So, I don't know. Like, I have a lot of nostalgia for movies like this. But the air quotes critic in me can also kind of see that the writing in this is not really the best. Some of the acting is not really the best. Some of the movie is not really the best. So I can't, in good conscience, give this thing any higher than a 65, but that's where it is for me.
I'll round us off here, and I'm going to give it a 45.
Okay.
I'm not as low as perhaps you might have expected because I did have a lot of fun watching this. Like, don't get me wrong, this movie's fucking bad, but I had a kind of an actually really good time watching it and like obviously talking with you gents about it. Like, this is not something that I would recommend to, like, if someone had no basis for 80s horror, I wouldn't be like, start here. But like, if you already have it, then you're in a good place to just put this on the background and have a pretty good time, I think.
Okay, well, Nico, you've already kind of touched on it a little bit, I guess. But let's go ahead and two things. Nico, that is correct. That's higher than I thought you were going to give this movie. I thought you were going to shoot low. And secondly, you've kind of spoken this into existence. So let's go over it, shall we? Let's throw everything on the table here. Is this something that we would recommend to people, generally?
No.
No.
No. It's not going to get the pass from us, meaning it's not eligible for any kind of awards. Unfortunately, I think we all agree it just does not make the cut. Some good moments maybe, but just doesn't make the cut for us.
If you like movies that are so bad it's good, check this out. But otherwise, wide berth.
But I don't think it's so bad it's magical.
I don't think it's so
True.
bad it's magical either. Like, it didn't have the whimsy or the heart of something like Troll 2.
Agreed. I think it's funny how we all started off and then we went down like separate paths and then we all came to the same kind of conclusion at the end.
Yeah.
Such is life. Such is life. Well, if you agree or disagree, or maybe you've called this hotline for yourself, DOtD does not tell you to do that or endorse it in any way, please hit us up. We're on Twitter and Instagram at DOtD Horror. We're also on Facebook. That is, of course, Don't Open That Door. Plus, you can check out everything you've done on our website. That is, of course, DOtDhorror.com. But till then, we hope you have a great Halloween month. Check in with us every Monday, of course, for a new number horror movie. Take care of yourselves. Don't call collect. And as always, dear listener, don't open that door. Bye.